Welcome to Four Finger Discount. This week we are here to review episode FAB F22. It is the episode titled She Used to Be My Girl. I am Dando.
I am Guy, and well, we were off to a pretty good start with season 16, weren't we, Dando?
Yeah, we didn't like this one.
It had a few issues, shall we say. Issues that we've noticed in recent Simpsons episodes that I think both you and I have disliked. But look, I think there was a fair bit to enjoy in this episode. Not the least being the guest appearance by one Kim Cattrall. Thought she did a very good job, a very good addition to the lineup.
I didn't realise it was her until they did the Sex and the City gag at the end. I was like, oh yeah.
Which one was the Sex and the City gag again?
When she gave Barney half an hour of pity sex.
Oh, that's right. I thought that was just a sex joke as opposed to a Sex and the City joke.
Well,
but anyway.
Well, I had the Sex and the City music playing, so.
Oh, of course. Which I haven't really listened. I haven't really.
You don't
Did you watch it much?
Everyone knows the Sex and the City music.
It's been so long since I watched Sex and the City. Or had Sex and the City. No. But, I guess that slipped me right by. Oh, dear.
Really? That's like the obvious one. Man, you're not on fire today so far, are you?
Not really. No. There's been a lot going on. But aside from that, I like to think I'm fairly on the ball. I mean, I think there was a bit that I enjoyed in this episode. And as I said, yeah, Kim Cattrall, very good work. But look, no, we'll talk about it when we get to the end. But the end, I was like, well, here are my notes. Wait, what's with this ending? And this ending?
What was let me scroll through my notes. What happened at the very end? Oh, not the SpongeBob thing. It was stupid. Yes, I understand that. The miracle on ice never happening. Yeah, that was kind of odd as well, wasn't it? I was like, what?
Yeah. Now I need to look up because I'm not sure if the miracle on ice, I think, is the US hockey team.
Yeah.
In the Olympics in 1980, beating the Russians, who were thought to be unbeatable. I'm wondering if that's what she's talking about. If that happened at Lake Placid. All I really know about Lake Placid is the great Killer Crocodile movie.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Lake Placid. Let me have a look. Miracle on Ice was an ice hockey game during the 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, New York, yes.
Well, there we go. And what? But Marge has got her feet in a bowl of ice because it's hot? I don't know.
Well, she just came from a volcano, dude.
Oh, there is that, yes.
Did you watch the episode?
Yes, of course!
She had to run across the fucking lava to get to Lisa.
Well, that's a good point.
Fucking hell. Well, thank you guys for your support so far in becoming new patrons here at Four Finger Discount. As you guys are well aware, I quit my job to focus on this and hopefully make this a career. So all your support so far has been much appreciated. We've got some shout outs for some new patrons coming up later in the show. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to support us here on YouTube. Every episode now goes up on the YouTube channel. If we get the video going, the video will be going up. Otherwise, it'll be audio only. But I'm going to be doing my best to get videos for all the podcasts we do here on the Four Finger Discount Network, including this, Talking Seinfeld, Going Down to South Park, the one about Friends, and what else do we do? Tales of Futurama exclusively on our Patreon channel as well. So plenty of podcasts here on the Four Finger Discount Network, and thank you guys for your support. The other show that we do, besides Movie Guys / Sidetrack as well, we do movie reviews, is Guy on Springfield, where Guy and myself go back and revisit an episode from the first 10 seasons voted by the patrons with a poll in the Facebook group each and every month. But yes, She Used to Be My Girl, not up to the standards set by the last 3 episodes. Treehouse of Horror, push that aside. The last 2 episodes, I guess you could say, of season 16. I still think this is better than most of season 15, this episode. As you said, a good guest appearance from Kim Cattrall. Homer, yeah, he's still, I don't know, it's like, it's weird. It's like they want him to be a good person and they just throw it out the window again after it. I'm like, why'd you follow that really good, nice, heartfelt line up there with this shit? And I'll get to that moment a little bit later on. But the Lisa story, the only thing with this one that sort of had me rolling my eyes was there's 2 things. I got sort of sick of things happening and then every scene, not every scene, but most scenes ending with Marge going, like, Marge is
a whole lot of in this episode.
Yeah, the scene would end with Marge, like she's annoyed about everything. And yes. We've already had the story of Marge being jealous of Lisa liking another female in her life. Remember the "Shut up, Becky"?
Oh, yeah.
So this is pretty much, besides the fact that Becky wasn't an old friend of Marge's, it's just a similar story where there's someone new comes into their life and Lisa looks up to her, Marge gets jealous of it. Hilarity and fights and cat fights ensue.
Yeah. How long since Shut Up Becky, do you think? How many seasons ago was that?
That was season 10. Or maybe 11? 10 or... Okay. Oh, no, you weren't here for season 10. So it must have been season 11. Yep.
Yeah, so...
Still 5-6 years.
At the same time, I think there's always room to... I think it's kind of an evergreen issue. It's an evergreen terrace issue. The you wanting your child to be proud of you, and then your child sort of directs that pride somewhere else, particularly if it's someone that you knew and someone you were on an equal footing with, and then all of a sudden the game changes a bit. Yeah, but at the same time, to recycle it so... without putting too much of a new spin on it or a new finesse on it is a little lazy, shall we say?
Literally last week, you were the guy that said, though, that when they did the Nelson rehash with the Marge story, we both had said, I know it's a rehash story, but so what?
I don't claim to be consistent. I never claim to be a role model. I see where you're coming from, though, but... I don't know, yeah, it is a double standard on my part, and I apologise.
But it's just, yeah, I don't know, it did kind of feel a little bit repetitive in that regard. And I don't know, yeah, it was
it's very much the hope. It's like, hey, it's the same old Malibu Stacey, but she's wearing a new hat.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
The hat in this case is guest star, Sex and the City star, Kim Cattrall.
Yeah, so, yeah, it wasn't a fantastic episode, but it was fine. But
who knows, Dan? Now, as we go through the episode and we pick out bits and pieces that we like, and we remember the good times, we may come to the end of this episode, as we normally do, going, hey, you know what? Not that bad.
Well, I thought this episode started strong with Quimby, and speaking of that, let's get into it. My favourite moments from the episode, I really liked the Quimby baby. Just the Goo Goo Gaga, but in Quimby form, as well as
Indeed.
Bart and Homer's scheme. Just, it's so stupid, but I think they just realised how fun the Quimby voice is to do.
As I've written in it, everybody loves to do Quimby.
Yeah. I am, here's my father.
Sorry, you continue with your likes, but
then I will... Go, what were we going to say?
Of course, everybody likes Quimby, but also a return of one of my favourite recurring characters, it's a bit mean to say it, but yes, the bimbo love interest for Quimby.
What does he call her, though? He gives a particular name.
You fertile idiot.
Fertile idiot. Fertile moron or something. Yes, that's
fertile
right.
moron, something along those lines. But you're the major.
She's like the unsung hero for you. You love it.
She is one of my favourite side characters, absolutely.
Yeah, she's good. What else did I also like? What have I got? Oh, yeah, Wiggum. This lava, I don't know why I'm here. It isn't a criminal, and it hasn't hurt anybody. That I know. But yeah, what else did you like?
I'm always a fan when Homer is just a buffoon and a clod and a slob and all that kind of stuff. But when someone calls him on it, he'll always find a way to sort of redeem himself. And, when Chloe says, hey, you threw up on my tuba. I believe it was the school's tuba. He's like, I'm not going to lose this round. 1 point back to Homer. Who could resist Homer's science fiction sounds when he's, saying to young Marge, I'll take you around the world and outer space. Woo! Yeah. And one thing I've always enjoyed is Lisa's sneaky laugh whenever she thinks she's getting away with.
Yeah, little villain. Yeah.
Yeah, always good fun. So, yeah, those were my most favourite bits from the episode She Used to Be My Girl.
Little sidetrack here with speaking of instruments that belong to the school and not the person who was playing them. So Nicola Wright plays the saxophone. She's playing a thing called a Bijou, I think, band. Bijou, something like that.
Bijou?
Well, she says Bijou. Nicola says Bijou. Anyway, it might be the same thing, just said differently. But it's just like a travelling, just like a band kind of thing. And I don't think it was a school band, but I think she might have rented the saxophone from the school or something like that. And when she moved to Australia, obviously she left it behind at her house and forgot to return it to where it was rented from. And then like 3 or 4 years goes by and Mum's like, you know that saxophone you never took back? It's still here. What are you going to do with it? And Nicola's like, oh, take it back. And I'm like, give me don't take it back. It's a free saxophone.
Yeah.
So Nicola's mum brought it over with her. And now we've got a fucking free, fancy, like really expensive saxophone. Nicola plays it all the time. Got it for free. Because we didn't take it back. It's kind of like when I rented that video, I never took it back. It's just on a grander scale. She fucking kept a saxophone.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Does Nicola slick her hair back but leave a bit of a mullet and wear tight pants and do the Lost Boy saxophone thing?
She does. Oh, she just does that without a saxophone. No, she does not do that, but I wish she did.
Listeners, patrons, let's start a GoFundMe or something like that to get Nicola to do the "I Still Believe" clip with the saxophone. I think she should do it from the Lost Boys.
If we can set it as like a goal on Patreon, people listen to our One About Friends podcast. We'll pitch it on there as well. If you want to see Nicola wear tight pants and play a saxophone like the Lost Boys.
Well, I've had something like that. I mean, to a slightly larger scale, you might say, because back in one of those, let's say, fruitless efforts to try and get fit, actually rented from some healthcare equipment place in town an elliptical machine. And the place went out of business, and now I've got an elliptical machine in my back room.
Was that the one you tell me about that you just covering your laundry all the time and stuff?
Kind of, yeah. It's broken.
But why do you still have it? Is this the one you said you're going to get fixed like 2 years ago and you still haven't got fixed? Is it that one?
Yeah. I just can't be fucked fixing it. I'm doing hard rubbish and just putting it out on the
It's for the best. We're doing hard rubbish next week as well. Just clearing shit out. It's the best thing. When you get that shit in your house where you're like, I could get it fixed, but it's just hard rubbish. Forget that you had it. It's gone. It's no longer your problem.
It's like a laxative for your house.
Exactly right. It's the greatest thing of all time. Can you do it twice a year or just once a year? Is it twice a year?
I thought it might be twice a year, but it may be just once. Otherwise, you've just got to sort of throw it out there and put a little sticker on it and say, free to good home.
We are going to be clearing some
I'm broken, but I still work.
We are going to be clearing some shit out this week, that is for sure. But anyway, it is now time for some trivia. But before we get into trivia, we have some Patreon shout-outs, as I mentioned earlier. Our $20 patrons, if you're a $20 patron, you get a shout-out on every single podcast we do here on the network. Not just 4-figure discount, all the podcasts we do here. So we're going to kick off with the patron of the week. All right, Mr. Davis. Mm-hmm. Who could it be this week? I say it's going to be Joel Yolande.
Joel Slow Your Roll Yolande? No, that's a... Joel Jelly Roll Yolande.
Jelly Roll? What's a jelly roll?
I just remember there was a jazz musician named Jelly Roll Morton. But Jelly Roll, I think... You know how we have those jam rolls where you've got a nice bit of flat pastry and it's rolled up?
The rolled one, yeah.
Rolled up like a carpet, and they put a nice whack of jam on it. So... And you've got, a nice little tube that's cakey, but jammy as well.
That's good roll.
That's good rolling. So, Joel Jelly Roll Yolande.
There you go. Joel Jelly Roll Yolande, the patron of the week. Also, shout outs. Oh, sorry, Mr. Davis.
Enjoy your nickname, Joel.
Enjoy your nickname, yes. Also, shout outs to Christopher, Trent Darby, Andrew Zer, Jordan Molman, Richie Steamtown Champion, Dylan Haggett, Andrew Zer, Sally Kimberley, Hank Scorpio, Kevin Dental Plan Flood, Jonathan Rossi, Zach Pruitt, Timothy Burleson, Katie G, Daniel Kotnick, Shannon Hofer, Jenna Rice, Reese Roberts, Adam Sanderson, George McEnemy, Stephen Roberts, Sean Deavy, Bella Winterbank, David Stewart, Tom Pickering, Mark Boston Burgess, Groundskipper Noah, Declan Phoenix, Anthony Carpentieri, Lewis Kavanagh, Jack McFadden, and Heath Appleby. They are our $20 patrons, Mr. Davis.
They are indeed. Just going to call you out on something. Maybe my hearing's going and he's a top fella, so I wouldn't blame you for doing so. Did you name Andrew Zer twice?
I did, for good reason, because he's a super duper man. It's his 40th birthday coming up. I thought I'd give him a double shout out.
Oh, you didn't get a new nickname this time around, but you may later, Andrew. But congratulations, happy birthday to you, my man.
He also is the man who supplies us with all the audio files for the episode. So, round of applause for Andrew, the true hero of this podcast. Also, shout outs to our newest patrons. We've got Kyle Muldoon. Muldoon, is that the guy from Jurassic Park? Muldoon?
Is he Clever Girl?
I think it's that guy. Yeah, Muldoon.
Clever Kyle.
Yeah. Naomi, Chris A, Andrew Davis, and Tyler the Destroyer, as well as Hank Scorpio and Ian Ashley have upgraded their patronage. And also going to give a shout out to our $100 patron of the month, Elliot J from the Simpsons Index podcast, as well as a new $100 patron, Talia Lara. And she wants us to do a review. She has selected what she'd like us to review, the film Run Lola Run.
Holy moly. Talia.
Yeah.
That's a great choice. We'll be happy to talk about it. We seem to be attracting new people, Dando.
That's all you got to do is quit your job, and they want to support you. They're like, shit, this guy's crazy. We better give him the money. But yeah, thank you guys so much for jumping on the 4-Finger Discount bandwagon and supporting us here on Patreon. Remember, if you can't support us financially, that is completely acceptable. I completely understand. You can also support us just by either rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or, sharing, retweeting a tweet that we put out of the podcast, or sharing a Facebook post or on Instagram or something like that, letting others know about the podcast, let it know that it exists. But yes, as I said, quit my job. This is the focus now, and I've got so much more time. I've got so many podcasts up this week. I'm finally caught up on the backlog. And but yeah, so all the other shows we do, because all the other shows were a bit behind, but now if you want to listen to our South Park podcast, our Seinfeld podcast, and Friends podcast, they're all up to date. You can find them on all the various channels on iTunes. Just search for them on Spotify or iTunes. You can find those as well. And if you like that and you want to get early access to all those shows, you're just got to be a patron, as well as the Facebook group, Zoom chats with Guy and myself every month, and prize draws and much, much more. Just got to be a patron. Little as $1 per month helps support the channel and helps us grow.
Indeed, and we need all the growth that we can get. We're growing boys.
Yes, we're little boys. We need to grow into big men. Anyway, trivia. What's your first question?
Oh, very, very well. I'll start. How many paternity suits for Quimby?
I want to say it was 27.
And you'd be correct in doing so.
27. Yep. My first question is, what magazine was Homer reading?
Oh,
he was sitting on the couch. It was just before Chloe arrived.
Nope, you lost me.
It's men's fatness, bad abs in 6 weeks was the tagline.
That's right, yeah. My next question to you. Who is on Lisa's binder?
Who's on? It's the editor of the magazine, Harper's Magazine. Is it Lionel someone? No,
it's Lewis someone.
Lewis Lapham. Yeah, I looked it up. He was the editor for like 30 years, except for a couple of years hiatus in the early 80s. But besides, I think it's from 76 to 2006. He was the editor of Harper's Magazine, where he left in 81 and came back in 83, apparently.
What a tenure by Lewis Lapham. Well done.
Yes, that's right. My next question is, which celebrities has Chloe had a fling with?
Bill Clinton and Schwarzenegger.
And Schwarzenegger, yes. Who hasn't Schwarzenegger had a fling with?
He does get the round.
He does indeed. All right. What's your next question?
Where does Chet shoot wedding videos?
He says wedding videos in Dallas, Fort Worth? Fort something? Was it Fort Worth?
Fort Worth.
And then he's like, just Fort Worth.
Yeah. Just Fort Worth.
Same gag as when Mo's like, I've got a date with someone from the from the what catalog is it? Sears catalog?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't deserve this shabby treatment. And my final question is, where do they get the Simpsons TV tray from? Where do they get their TV tray from?
It was from Expo 67.
Correct. Which was what? Do you remember?
I do not.
It was something of the space sort of like site in 1967. It hung around. It's kind of like a World's Fair kind of attraction kind of thing for about 20 years or so.
Is that the New York one?
I don't know. I can look that up.
I'm wondering if it's the Men in Black thing.
Expo 67. It is the Category 1 World's Fair held in Montreal, Quebec. That's in Canada.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, not in New York. It's in Canada.
I'll blame Canada for that.
I thought the Simpsons had never been to Canada.
Continuity's out the window now, man.
Anyway, you got any more questions for me?
Only one. Mm-hmm. Can we get on with the review?
We can do that indeed. All right, that is trivia for She Used to Be My Girl. We'll be right back, guys, after this short break with our full in-depth review. The original air date of She Used to Be My Girl was December 5th, 2004. It was written by Tim Long and directed by Matthew Nastuck, and it guest starred Kim Cattrall as Chloe Talbot, as I said earlier, as we were discussing. The chalkboard gag, I was glad that we got a chalkboard gag again. We're back to having a proper intro. The chalkboard gag is poking a dead raccoon is not research, and the couch gag is the one where everyone goes onto the couch and they've all got Mo face, which was haunting.
Family of Mo's.
Haunting.
Mo face. Oh my God.
What was the episode where, it's the one where Homer tries to like do the insurance job on his car, and then Mo, he gets sent to prison. Is that the one where, and then like he sees Mo everywhere? Oh, no, it's Flaming Mo's. It's Flaming Mo's.
Yeah.
When I knew it was an episode where he hated Mo for doing, so it's Flaming Mo's. And just sees Mo. Yeah. Anyway, so the episode kicks off with Bart forcing Santa's little helper to take his medicine. It's very much like this when you get a dog trying to take a tablet. It's like Jet has this talent, right? You can
confusing your son with the dog. We named the dog Indiana.
You give Jet this tablet in like a roll of cheese or a bit of meat, and he somehow eats the meat and then goes and like spits it out like a pip. And I'm like, how? How do you have this talent? But
you got outsmarted by a dog.
Yeah, but it's very, very difficult. But
yeah, it's feeding animals. It is feeding animals pills, particularly. Yeah, it is a tough job.
yeah, not fun at all. Bart suggested Marge suggests to Bart try some cheese, which he does, and Homer ends up eating the medicine instead. And then Homer says something along the lines of, used to feed me cheese all night, and then there came the heart attacks. Yeah, there wasn't very, Homer's lines were pretty lame in this, I thought.
They weren't exactly zingers.
Nah, it was just kind of like, that wasn't even really a gag. But there's a media circus. It arrives. Homer doesn't know the difference between a media circus and the actual circus. The Christian Science monitor, they've got a flat tire, and they did this gag purely so they can say that God is going to jack us.
Indeed. We've had a lot of jacking recently on things that we've talked about.
Yeah, we did Futurama.
And elsewhere.
Yeah, we did, for Patreon, we did Howlers Other Robots. That's our latest Futurama episode that we reviewed, and there's a lot of jacking going on in that episode. But Fox News arrives to We Are the Champions because it's a sex scandal, and they're all about that. They're all over it. And Mayor Quimby is in trouble because he's got 27 paternity suits heading his way. I just loved Cookie Kwan's baby. Just the fucking baby. Oh, it just got me. And he gives it to his security guard. He's like, races as your own. Guy puts the glasses on it.
Put the shades on.
And I like that the baby had the mayor's baby sash on. Marge is then excited to see... she hasn't been as excited since Juice was on the loose. But Juice is apparently still on the loose. Yeah. Quimby then shows the puppy to win back the media. And just showing how shit... the media is in Springfield. They can be won over with some puppy dog eyes. But then Chloe arrives from the Global News Network and she asks Brockman some questions about the pedestrians that he ran over, but those records are sealed. Basically, she's just there to show what real journalism is like compared to the usual Springfield journalism. And it kind of shows how the people in power in Springfield get away with so much because the media just don't give a shit. Pay them off, they're fine.
Very correct, very correct. As someone who works in the media, no comment.
How much was your former workplace paid to not produce stories on the Geelong Football Club?
Oh, golly. I couldn't tell you. I definitely couldn't tell you. Honestly. What's that line from, that show House of Cards?
Yeah, of course. That we never speak of again.
Well, yeah, we're not allowed to talk about either. What's that line? It's like, you could say that, but I couldn't possibly comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marge points out that Chloe, she used to go to her high school. And she was, the kids are surprised. What, someone successful came from Springfield? And then Homer points out the two-headed goat. Then Chloe questions Quimby on being faithful, and she has a videotape. I really like Quimby's panic. And when she says, I've got the videotape, he's like, oh. And he shows your favourite character of all time, the fertile moron.
Does she actually have a name? I think we should,
I'm not
christen
sure.
her with something.
I'm not sure if... Let's look it up then. I don't go there. It's Quimby Floozy.
Quimby Floozy.
Mistress? I'll try Mistress. Here we go. Joe Quimby had 3 mistresses: Miss Springfield, his niece, and Cookie Kwan.
Well, that's Miss Springfield then.
Yeah, it's Miss. I guess it is Miss Springfield. Yeah, it must be Miss Springfield.
Okay. Well, let's go with Miss Springfield.
Yes, Miss Springfield. That will do.
I'm happy every time I see her, and hear her especially.
As we said, though, Chloe's questioning Quimby on being faithful, and is proof now that he's actually cheating on his wife. Everyone knows that already, though. And then Chloe points out that local media are absolute idiots, and we get Brockman saying that every news report's going to have a car chase, and if it doesn't, the weather girl wears a tube top, and if she doesn't, you get a free pizza. Sounds like my kind of news story.
It does indeed. You wonder why people aren't tuning into the free-to-air news. Come on. Give us a bit more of that action.
Do you still watch free-to-air news? I don't watch the news at all, ever. Like, I just find my news when I want it online. I don't watch the news. It just seems like I'm not going to fucking read and watch the news when you tell me to.
I'm going to be I will occasionally watch like Channel 9, well, not even Channel 9 News. I find Channel 9 News kind of not great. 7, if I'm around the house and I've got a remote control in my hand at that particular time, it's like, let's see what's happening. But I will watch the ABC News at 7 o'clock, usually with the lovely Louise.
Okay. Just
to, end of the day, let's get a bit of a roundup. And, usually after the first 2 stories, it's like, okay, well, that's what's happening. It's either Russia, COVID, or inflation.
Well, the ABC News here in Australia it's like the Frasier of news programs. It's like you feel smarter just for watching it.
It's a little more upmarket.
Marge then seems down, though, that Chloe was a success and she wasn't, because, they were sort of on level pegging back in high school days. Lisa points out, don't worry, Mum, like, you're a success as well. Look at this chore wheel you built, and Maggie has to do the dry cleaning. I've always wondered how like those wheels are made, where you got the one wheel on the inside spinning around, as opposed and the big one on the outside spinning as well.
Yeah, that does seem like a feat of engineering that's way beyond my level of expertise.
As we discussed recently, I can't even put a floating shelf up, so I'm sure it's easy. I just have no idea how to do it. And Homer and Bart have planned a scheme to get some money out of Quimby.
$1 million.
We're now at City Hall. There's a picket line going. Some of the lines say Mayor McSleaze, a play on Mayor McCheese. Say yes to sperm limits, and Quimby, you pay now. Chloe then offers a question, but Quimby wants it in writing so he can eat it, which he does. Then Marge and Lisa arrive to see Chloe, because they're going down there just to say hello. Lisa admires her. She always admires women in positions of power.
Yes, women who have shattered that glass ceiling.
Yeah, especially those who have come from Springfield, because it proves that she can actually do something with herself as well. And Lisa, as I said, she admires her. Marge, she's just a little bit jealous of her, which I would be as well. I mean, if I gave up my dreams to raise the kids, and then these kids that I gave up my dreams for started liking someone else for going for their dream, I'd be like, bitch, you're the reason I don't have to. I didn't follow my dreams.
You're the problem here.
You're the reason. They invite Chloe over for dinner. And I will say, though, what were your thoughts on the Chloe character in the sense that I thought she was not a nice person?
Very name droppy, as the episode points out again and again. Yeah, she was a little, as we say in Australia, up herself.
Yeah, she wanted to tell herself that she was a nice person and she was accepting, but everything always came back to her. Marge says, let's look at the slides later. Oh yeah, let's watch my show first. Or, I've been talking about myself on it. Let's talk about you. And as soon as Marge talks about herself, it's back to her again. It's always about her.
I get the feeling that she probably thinks it's justified given that she has done all this terrific stuff in her life. But yeah, she needed to find a way to sort of finesse it, shall we say. And also let other people have the spotlight, even if it's just for a second. It's a lot like this show, Dando. I mean, you've got to give me the spotlight every once in a while, man. Come on.
Well, then go for it. What happens next?
I don't know.
Chloe arrives at the Simpsons house, time for dinner, and Homer blushes. I saw you on the TV. Why is it that when someone, even if they're not famous, you saw them on TV, you just immediately, you don't panic around them, but you get somewhat starstruck. You're like, oh, it's the guy from the television. Like even like with like football players, I shouldn't care. But if I'm at the supermarket and there's like a football player next to me scanning his food, I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's him! It's the guy! Oh, yeah. He's scanning his apples.
I remember I was walking down the main aisle of what used to be called Bay City Plaza, and now it's called Westfield Bay City, here in Geelong. Not many people around, and who do I come to see walking down dead centre but the captain of the Geelong Football Club, Joel Selwood. And it was like, oh. It was like there was a lovely glow emanating from it, even though he was just like in trackies and, a North Face fleece or something.
And bandaged with blood coming down his face.
And, yeah. And then he fell over.
He ducked.
But it was like, holy moly, that's Joel Selwood. Wow.
I remember, so he's not even like a very popular Geelong player. Like he's the ruckman. He's Reece Stanley, right, for Geelong. So he's nowhere near their best player, and he's always in and out of the team. He's had a pretty good season this year. But I remember it was a couple of years ago at the supermarket, and we're scanning through the food, and he was in the self-serve checkout next to me. And I sort of noticed it as I was scanning. I was like, oh, it's Reece Stanley. I'm like, don't make eye contact. Whatever you do, don't make eye contact. And I'm like, looked up at him, and he looks at me at the same time. I'm like, Dano, you're not listening. Stop looking at him. Because once they know you're looking at them, then it's awkward. It's like, this kind of. Once they realize that you realize who they are, it's like, no.
Well, how did you play it after that though? Because that's important. Did you just give a little sort of, mate?
Yeah, I just sort of went like whatever. But like, I felt like a child.
Yeah.
like, damn it.
And you just know that he went home to,
his many fertile morons.
Yeah, that's true. His bed of money surrounded by beautiful ladies. Just like, should have seen this dick at the supermarket.
Gave me the heads up. Thought he was cool.
Yeah, thought he could say hi to Reece Stanley.
Had his shirt all buttoned up like he was somebody.
Why are we dissing Reece Stanley like this? Perfectly nice fella.
No, I'm sure he's lovely. Yeah.
When I say we diss him, I mean me.
I'm the fool here, not him. But I just remember when I thought, all right, now's the time. He's not looking. I looked up and he's looking at me. I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, man.
You did it. What's your starstruck moment? Your moment where you went, fuck, I didn't think I was going to be starstruck, but I am.
I think I've said this on the show in the past, but back when I was writing about TV, two of the stars of the television series Lost came out for a promotional tour. One was Dominic Monaghan of the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Which one's he?
He's Merry.
Oh, yep. The blonde guy?
Yeah. I think that's Pippin.
Pippin, okay. So
More sort of a redhead. You know how Frodo and Sam are the boyfriend and girlfriend, and then
Lord of the Rings, Merry,
or the boyfriend.
And
boyfriend.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, okay, yep. That's the guy. That is the guy I'm thinking of. Sorry, but I think I thought he was blonde. Yep.
Yeah. And the other was a lovely Evangeline Lilly.
Okay.
And she's not even still a huge star, but and I like to think I've interviewed some fairly big names, but I was sitting across the table from her interviewing her, and I'm like, dude, keep it in check because this is the most gorgeous, charismatic woman I've ever seen in my entire life up till that point. And I was kind of like, I didn't expect this, because she wasn't a huge name, but she was just so charming and just had a lot of really interesting things to say, and also just dropped dead gorgeous. And I was like, dude, don't turn into I saw you on TV. Yeah,
Evangeline Lilly. Oh yeah, okay. So I see who you're talking about now. Yeah, all right. So she was just all that and a bit more.
Indeed.
I'm just trying to imagine Guy Davis starstruck. Were you when you say starstruck, were you fumbling over your words, or were you just like had to really concentrate?
I was, Guy always brings the A game, but bring the A+ game this time around.
Yes. All right, so where were we up to in the episode?
Don't drool too obviously, I think is what I was thinking.
Oh, so yeah, Homer starstruck. Yeah, I saw you on TV. That's right. Yeah, because she's come for dinner.
Oh, she remembers him from high school and how he's pretty stoked about that until she says, "You barfed in my tuna."
Yes,
tuba.
Yeah, it was the schools, and then he's in love with her kebabs, and she says that she got the recipe from. She says Istanbul instead of Istanbul. I assume that's how you correctly pronounce it.
Yeah, I might have to check with my Turkish friend Ali on that because, I think that's, even among Turkish people, I don't think that's how you pronounce Istanbul.
We get the gag, we're throwing the sticks into Grandpa's back. They've done this too many times for it to be funny anymore. But anyway.
Think about kebabs as well. This reminded me of something because, you think of shish
they say
kebabs.
It's kebabs, as they say.
Kebabs. But you think of shish kebabs. Yeah, and it's all the nice stuff on a stick. But then you also think of kebabs, which in Australia are, wraps.
Chicken and garlic sauce.
Oh, yeah. Hot damn.
Hot damn.
But I remember, the show The Flight of the Conchords?
Yes.
And how they based, episodes around some of their songs. And there was one where it's, there was a line in one where it's like, I'll buy you a kebab. But they're in America. And I think, if it was a New Zealand song, it'd be like, I'll buy you a kebab, as in we'll go to the kebab truck and, I'll get you a nice shawarma. Except I don't think they call them shawarmas in the US. So
no, they do.
Oh, well, they've got a plate of shish kebab. And I'm like, I don't think that's what they meant when they wrote the song.
Because the Avengers go for shawarma after the movie in the credits.
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Shawarma. It's so nice.
Yeah, it's
I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep diverting from this episode, but I'm just reminded of one of my favourite moments in a Geelong cafe ever. The Great Sam's Cafe, which does the best shawarma in Geelong, and I dare say Victoria.
Which one's Sam's?
Sam's is in Moorabool Street.
Up the top?
Yeah, near St John of God Hospital.
Okay, yep.
It's so conveniently located. No. You'd never go to the hospital after Sam's. It's so good. But I was in there one day, and this gentleman came in with his lady friend, and I'll never forget that he ordered for himself, and he said, and the lady will have the mixed shawarma. I'm like, what a lord.
The lady will have.
He's such a gent. It was a bit more upmarket than Cletus and Brandine, but that's what it reminded me of a little bit. I just love, and the lady will have the mixed shawarma. What a dude.
He definitely calls his ladies love.
Oh,
hey, love. Oh, what a good man. You don't know what his name was?
I do not. It was It was Reece Stanley. Sorry, Reece. No, I didn't, and I didn't laugh either. It was funny, but it was also genuinely sweet.
Yeah,
I thought that this guy's looking out for his gal.
You're not laughing at him. You're laughing at the moment. Yeah, like
I am laughing at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think I allowed myself a little nice.
I want you to try that next time you go order a kebab from the fish and chip shop with Louise there, and just see what Louise's reaction is. And the lady will have a mixed kebab or mixed souvlaki or whatever.
I think I might try that.
I think we have this like so many different words for the same thing. Like if you go to a shop and you say kebab, souvlaki, shawarma, it's all the fucking same thing, right?
It is, yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between a souvlaki and a kebab.
I'm pretty sure if you have a kebab in the UK, it's the open bread. Like, yeah, it's the shit meat off the oven. It's a dirty kebab, as they call it.
Yeah.
I've told the story on the podcast before when I my first night out in England, in Boston, in Lincolnshire in England with Nicola's friends. And I was like,
Mark Boston Burgess.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I wanted to get a kebab on the way home, because it's what you do. You get a kebab after you've had a few drinks, right? And then we get home. I think I've told you, they gave it to me in a styrofoam box. And I was like, it's fucking weird, whatever. I got home, opened it up, and it was just like this little mini pita bread, meat in a little separate section, and lettuce and some sauce on top. And I was like, Nicola, what's this? She's like, it's a kebab. I'm like, excuse me. What's going on here? She's like, oh yeah, you put.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
You gotta put the meat in there. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Are they fucking making it?
Excuse me, some assembly required.
That wasn't part of the deal. We should go back to the episode though. But yeah, Homer's in love with Chloe's kebabs, as he calls them.
I'm sorry, I just heard that to the tune of Stacey's mom. I know that it is wrong, but I'm in love with Chloe's kebabs.
You've lost your mind. That's going to be your new song that you sing in the kitchen to yourself.
Cause kebabs have got it going on.
I can't sing that song because my sister's name's Stacey.
Oh no. No.
I can't do it anymore.
Because that's your mom.
I know. I mean, she's got it going on.
No one would dispute this.
But yeah, as I said, Marge is a little bit jealous of Homer.
Yeah. We're not getting away from this scene.
One thing that you need to realize, and you do realize when you've been in a long-term relationship, is that you never say how much you like someone else's cooking in front of your spouse, especially at the dinner table. I remember once I said to Nicola that I preferred my mum's roast over hers. And I slept on the couch for about 6 weeks after that. Like it didn't go down well at all. But yeah, Homer makes a mistake.
Unlike the roast.
Exactly. Yeah, Homer makes a mistake here though of saying it in front of Marge, and she's not angry, but she's just like somewhat disappointed. She's like, Homer, how could you say such a thing? And then she said Chloe says she got the recipe from Istanbul. She was writing a story for Harper's Magazine, and Lisa is in love with Lewis Langham. She's got him on her binder.
Lapham,
she has a sexy growl. And then Chloe asked, Marge, what's been exciting in your life lately? And she says, well, the dog had an impacted anal gland. I've always wondered why dogs do that, because Jet used to do it occasionally, like he just drag his ass on the floor. But see, Jet's got like the skin allergy, so he gets a bit itchy, like in various places. But yeah, when you see a dog do it, to me, I'm just like, that could be any filthy. You're wiping your anus on the fucking rug. What are you doing, mate?
It's not great.
No,
I mean,
it's not good.
You sometimes wonder why you let animals inside your house.
You think, like, dogs, they lick their ass, they lick their fucking feet, they lick everything, lick their balls, and you let them lick you. That's no big deal. But you find a fucking fly, it lands on your food, you won't touch it.
No.
But I would share my food with my dog, who licks his anus. Like, double standards there. But yeah, as we said, that the Sandsville Hub's got the impacted anal gland, so hopefully that gets fixed soon. So he suggests that we can show you some slides from our trip to Athens Boulevard Recreational Centre. And Chloe says, yeah, sure. But first of all, can we watch my show, the Talbot Report? And actually, this nearly made my favourite moments. I like the Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
It was a really good Bob Dylan. Whoever did it.
Wasn't too bad. We're not sure who did that, but Dylan is...
He's a ramble man.
He is, and he's fun to do as well.
John is in the basement mixing up the medicine. I'm on the pavement. Think about the government.
That's all. That's my Dylan. That's the only Dylan I can do.
The story from the Talbot report shows how Chloe's returned to her crummy hometown, and she's seen all the various people she used to know. But Marge stands up for Springfield. She's very proud of being a Springfieldian. Marge, she always has been, and she still is. And Homer says, "Don't worry, we're talking about. We're only here because I've still got this ankle bracelet." And then, yeah, whatever. He doesn't really add much to this episode, Homer, at all, does he?
No, he's not a value add this time around.
This hasn't really been a value for this season yet. He's had no real stories of substance this season. He's just sort of... The last two episodes have been better because there's been little Homer.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, does the show need Homer anymore? That is the question.
Oh,
I smell a YouTube editorial coming up.
That's a bold question, Dan. Now let's see how it plays out for you.
Chloe, we come back from commercial. Chloe shows the dance that the Chinese government make their descendants do before they shoot them, and then we get the next scene here where Homer starts doing it. When he was doing it, I was like, I don't know. Look where this is going. I was like, okay then.
And even when it wrapped up with a chicken bone joke, I'm like,
I know, but you were making fun of their accent though. That was the joke.
Yeah, don't know about this whole thing, but then it didn't even really redeem itself. But the whole thing about, did you swallow another chicken bone? Same one. It's not unfunny, but yeah, that whole thing sort of had a bit of the about it.
It was also meant to be used so Chloe has an example of patronising Marge, saying, "Oh, I've slept with these celebrities. You're here with Homer. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great guy. Meanwhile, he's choked on the same bone." But before that, she says that she'll always be that little girl who wanted to leave Springfield. And Marge is just like, she's getting sick of it here. She's just like, what are you talking about? Like, stop talking about how, don't give Lisa this hope that, because I think that what they're going for here maybe was that Marge knows that Lisa is the only thing going, has something going for her in the family. And Marge has this fear of if Lisa, which is selfish, but she has this fear of if Lisa becomes a success, then she'll be stuck with Bart and Homer. And I know she wants the best for Lisa, but she also wants Lisa around just so she has someone. Because imagine having to live with Homer and Bart for the rest of your life and not have Lisa around. What you just did was great for podcasting, Mr. Davis.
That's correct. You're talking up the YouTube thing. I had to throw the YouTube guys a bone.
Guy fell off screen. I'm like, okay, is he actually passing out?
It was a little visual humor. I should have gone like that instead. Note for next time.
Marge points out you probably haven't got any time to have partners. She's like, no, I've had flings, with Clinton and Schwarzenegger.
She's talking it up like it's a big deal. I'm pretty sure those guys would fuck a crack in the footpath.
I've never heard that one before. That sounds like a classic Aussie comparison. We're not here to fuck spiders. They're now doing the dishes, Lisa and Marge. And then Lisa points out that even her serving bowl smells glamorous, and Marge can't believe it. Smells like Christmas and Aspen. Marge then explains, we were actually both stars in high school when it came to journalism. We were a team. We broke story after story, and we broke the story about the cafeteria worker who was spitting in the soup, and it turned out to be Mo. I like what do you think of the title? Sham Chowder.
Sham Chowder.
She explains that she decided to stay with Homer, and Chloe, who was dating Barney at the time, opted to go the career out instead of staying in Springfield. And Marge says she would have followed her, but plans changed. I like this. This felt very real, which is when God brought me this wonderful little boy. But then it cuts to Bart just sawing the television. I was like, what?
I did like his line, no, this isn't what it looks like.
This isn't what it looks like. Marge is then cleaning. Homer rules out of the bath and he wrote in grime. The more we go through this, the more Homer was just a shit character throughout this whole episode. Like, even at the end of this scene, he does something again, and it's like, what?
Yeah, he has one minor moment of, not even redemption, but when he's talking about, the TV tray from Expo 67.
Yes, that's what I was talking about earlier. The one moment where he actually felt like he had something to say, and then they throw it out the window again. It's just like, but we'll get to that. Lisa says that Chloe has won a Peabody Award, and Marge says, I made the bathroom floor smell like lemon. Where's my award for that? And I'm like, that's right, Marge. You deserve an award.
Well, I was about to say, given the terrible state of my bathtub, it's not terrible, but it could be better. The way that Marge makes hers just positively gleam, I'm like, yeah, you ought to be congratulated, to quote an old TV commercial from Australia.
Since I've been home, because I finished last Wednesday at work, I've seen just how many fucking dishes Nicola has to do. I've been helping, obviously, since I've been home, but I never realised how often Nicola has to do the washing, has to do the dishes, and all this other shit. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
I took you for granted. This is a fucking lot of work.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
And there are no awards for it.
Yeah, when I go over and see the lovely Louise, who has, 3 children, the amount of washing, of laundry, it's like it never stops.
It's like, you tip it out and it's just, it never ends. There's constant baskets of fucking clothes to wash. And I'm like, I said to Nicola the other day, how in God's name does a fucking 18-month-old and a just turned 4-year-old create so much fucking mess in 1 hour? Like, they come in and it's just like, boom, 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 just fucking open every fucking toy box, they plates on the fucking floor, there's crumbs everywhere. I'm like, look, it's just like, why bother cleaning up? Like,
I know. Yeah, it's like, I adhere to Homer's philosophy, and it's like, why go out? We're just going to come back here.
One of my favorite, one of the most underappreciated lines ever. Why go out? We're just going to be back coming home later.
Yeah, so why clean up when it's just going to get dirty?
Exactly right. It makes you feel that way. And then the dog's hair, I'm like, dude, do you have to molt? What the fuck is wrong with you?
How'd that not going to work thing work out for you?
I just went and got COVID and locked myself in a room for a week, yeah.
No.
I've got one more day left on my isolation. I tell you what, I am starting to climb the walls. But yeah, getting back to Marge, and she's annoyed that she's not getting an award, despite the fact that Chloe's won the Peabody Award. And then Lisa asks, can she go out for, she got dinner. She's running late for dinner with Chloe. And then Homer walks in, he's learned how to walk on stilts naked. And I'm like, what? What is this? What is the purpose of this character at the moment? Like, what is this character's purpose?
He's really just there to show how rocky the road that Marge took actually is compared to the road not taken.
Yeah. I don't know.
But doing it too much.
Yeah,
there's too much bad Homer in this episode.
So we're now at the Springfield Press Club, and on the sign at the front says we have liberal bias towards great meal deals. Then I don't know who Dan Rather is, but I do know who Tom Brokaw is.
Both very prominent American news anchors.
News anchors, okay. They've got Kent Brockman's mic, and he's very pissed off. I loved when Chloe walks in, and Tom's like, want to feel my muscle? Marge then wonders what life would be like if she stuck with journalism, and this is the moment we're talking about. So Homer says, your life is great, just for different reasons. He points out that you're the backbone of this family. You're like the tape that's holding the car together. And then just straight away goes, it'd be a good name for Maggie, Chloe. I'm like, that didn't even feel natural. It was just like, it was like heartfelt, nice, sweet, and then what would be a good name for Maggie, Chloe? What the fuck? So that was really lame. Chloe and Lisa are on their way home. She says she's disappointed, but she's gonna have to go to school tomorrow because they're gonna make a pilgrim out of felt. And Chloe suggests, well, I'm going to the UN Women's Conference in Capital City. Do you want to come along? She asks her to come, and she says, well, I don't know. I have to ask Marge first. So I can ask her right now. She's glaring at us from your front lawn. And she arrives, and Marge's got the bottle of the glass of wine in her hand. How dare you show my daughter a life of fun and possibility? This here, keep your dishwashing hands off my Armani. I'm like, oh, bitch.
Ooh,
you bitch. Yep. And clearly the two levels of what would you say? The Marge is more middle class, isn't she? She's working class, and Chloe is just very famous and rich.
Let's say that the Simpsons are lower middle class. Used to be middle class, but who can tell these days in this economy? And I think Chloe is probably upper middle class with aspirations to being upper class.
Marge gives her a good shove. She says, I'll show you the moves that I learned from G. Gordon Liddy. As Marge says, I'm just so sick of your names. And then we get the great fight music, and the fight breaks out. Homer thinks it's over him, but it's not over him. Just a classic cat fight. It's not very often you get to see Marge fighting. Have we ever actually seen her fight? I don't think we've seen her fight before.
To the best of my recollection, no.
Oh, I can't remember her fighting. Like another woman, just like a cat fight kind of thing. Marge then sporting a black eye. And really weird gag here where she gets shine or be gone and just shines on her eye and takes like 15 seconds and it disappears.
Why is it so long? Why is it so drawn out?
Yeah, I was like, okay, so that's supposed to be filler? Is it supposed to be funny? What is this?
Because I might have had a quick chuckle at the fact that, Irish ladies are probably getting slapped around by their Irish dudes and therefore need a bit of, cleanser.
Well, that gag just got dark.
That's what it's for, I imagine, right?
Yeah, I did even put the two and two together, implying that Irish beat their ladies.
I'm always...
Yikes.
I
I don't know.
apologies to our Irish friends. I'm just... I guess that's the game.
Well, what else are you supposed to take from that now that you've said that? Yeah, it makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean...
I'm not saying it's true, but...
Yeah, it's a false stereotype. But the quick glimpse of it, you go, oh, okay, yeah, fine. You know, they make fun of the Irish, like they make fun of everybody else. But then just to dwell on it the way they did, it's like, I'm with you, Dando. What's the point?
Margin explains to Lisa that when she has half a glass of wine, she goes cuckoo bananas. She still won't let Lisa go to the conference with Chloe. So Lisa sneaks out. And she's having a sort of a battle of conscience. Do I go? Do I not? Do I disobey Mum? And Bart just pushes her off just to make the decision for her. Thinking is for losers, as he says. And she says, thanks for helping me make my mind up. Chloe then leaves the hotel. And we've got this little moment here just so Lisa has a way to sneak into the boot without Chloe realising. So we've got Tom Brokaw here trying to chat her up. He invites her to the celebrity racquetball tournament, but Chloe wants nothing of it at all. She wants no part of it. And Lisa sneaks in the boot at that point. Margin says, we have to go because she's woken up and realised that Lisa is gone. And then Homer's just strangling Bart for no reason. Literally no reason.
Literally no reason.
Yeah, the joke is that he doesn't know why he's strangling him anymore. I was like, Tim Long, not sure about this one, buddy.
Tim, buddy. Tighten up, Tim.
Yeah. The boss then calls Chloe and says, no, you need to turn around because Mount Springfield's about to erupt. This is actually quite sassy. I didn't mind this. So, don't you already have someone who works in natural disasters? Yeah, he's covering Julie Roberts' last haircut. Zing!
Oh,
But seriously, he's dead. So she does the
that wasn't bad.
She does the U-turn. Chloe then arrives at the well, she calls it not Mount Springfield. She calls it Springfield Volcano in the news story. So what is it? Is it a mountain or is it a volcano?
I imagine all volcanoes are mountains.
I guess,
but not all mountains are volcanoes.
But she doesn't say Mount Springfield in a news report though. But yeah, Chet's here, the cameraman who pretends to have experience, but he doesn't. There's wedding videos in Dallas, Fort Worth, and actually just Fort Worth. Lisa opens the boot and she tries to surprise Chloe. She thinks she's going to be at the convention, but actually she's at the erupting Mount Springfield and lava surrounds them. And then Marge and Homer are walking through the... Actually, before that though, she says, now you're a news reporter to Lisa. You're going to film me. So again, it's all about her. Make sure you keep my boobs in the shot. So again, it's always about Chloe. It's never... I mean, she's wanting to support Lisa, but it's also... I feel like she invited Lisa to this conference just to sort of rub it into Marge. Like, look what a real successful woman looks like.
I see your point. Yeah, I mean, any good deed is always going to have a bit of selfishness to it as far as Chloe's concerned.
Marge and Homer arrive at the conference, and the sign at the front says, sexy Asian girls talk about wage disparity. I was like, oh my. They can't find Lisa anywhere, and then Homer says he's growing ashamed of his penis because it's an all women's convention. Damn. They then say the news story, and as Chloe says, this long dormant volcano is now spewing noxious debris in the air. How male? I was like, Marge says she's now off the Christmas card list, and Homer says, I think he says like, you stay, I'll go, and they boo him. And he says, all right, well you go, I'll stay, and they boo him. What do women want? They leave to rescue her though. And Wiggum, he's no help at all when they arrive, so Marge just drives off to save the day. The grand old splits underneath her, and then we get a discussion about magma, and she's like, you're so clever, Chloe. And I was like, bitch, if I was in this situation, I was like, shut the fuck up, let my mum just fucking save me. But Walter Cronkite, she says here, Walter Cronkite told me the same thing.
Yeah, even at this point, I think everyone's like, okay, that's the last name. That's the last name we need to hear. No more dropping.
Marge, though... I don't know whether this was meant to be deliberate or not, but she saves Lisa and has no intention of saving Chloe. So she saves Lisa, and as Chloe points out, this just anyone about to die. She thinks she's going to die. Barney swoops in because he's still got his helicopter license, his pilot license,
call back.
Yeah, and saves the day because he drinks now, but he's also sober as well. I don't know, like literally like last episode, I swear he was like drunk Barney again. He was.
He's not drunk all the time.
No. Yeah, it was bizarre.
Moderated his drinking.
Yeah, but so he moderates it, and he says, Chloe, with you by my side, I can get through this. I can stay sober. She says, how about half-hour pity sex? You take that, right, with King Control?
Oh, absolutely.
I remember though when I used to watch Sex and the City, like
that's twice.
I used to watch Sex and the City sometimes purely just so I could try and see naked ladies because I would have been like fucking 13 at the time. Mm-hmm. But I remember thinking she looks really old. Like if she's meant to be like the slutty, like hot one, but I'm like, isn't she old?
Well, that's the thing, Dano. It was groundbreaking. Sexy at any age.
Okay. I just remember thinking, she's old.
Well, you were 13, dude. Anyone's old.
We're now at home, and we've got the news report saying that Marge is now a hero. Well, she got the hero sandwich, thanks to our Springfield sub shop, with extra charge for warm-ups. Homer then chokes Bart for not preparing to care. I'm like, whatever, okay. Then Marge knows that she made the right choice in life because she's got the family around her, but then she imagines what life would be like if she didn't have a family, and we get the miracle on ice never happening. She screams. Yes. And we get a really weird SpongeBob bit during the credits.
Yeah, I didn't understand I understood the joke, such as it was, but the need for it or the placement of it's like, why?
Exactly? I watched this and I was like, I'm pretty sure that was a deleted scene for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, surely you didn't go, oh, we've got no way of keeping this in, but we've got to find it somewhere. Let's whack it in the credits. It's just so good.
It's gold.
It's gold, Jerry. But yeah. So, all in all, she used to be my girl. Not the best episode. You were right, Mr. Davis. It wasn't great.
Yeah, we did our normal procedure of going through it, picking out bits that we liked, dissecting it, and normally we'll come out going, hey, you know what? Not so bad, but this time, that bad.
Yeah.
That's so-so.
Pretty forgettable. Yeah. All right, what did you learn from the episode, Mr. Davis?
That lava is not a criminal.
It is not indeed, no. I learned that unless you infect your spouse, testing COVID positive is not a successful way to get pity sex. Otherwise, you're just locked in this room by yourself for a week.
You poor fella.
It is now time for the Guy Davis New Name Championship for Season 16 for She Used to Be My Girl. The current leaderboard stands at this. In third position, we have Fergus Jeffs, Adam Vergona, both on 2 points. In second position, Brian Hughes, Philip Hawkins, and Alistair Danik, all on 3 points. And in first position, on 5 points, is D.L. Gorman. Take it away, Mr. Davis. What do we got?
Well, righto, let's start with an honourable mention, shall we?
Okay.
I'm not a huge metalhead, but I did have a phase where I was very into Iron Maiden for about 6 months. So I liked whoever gave us Bring Your Daughter to the Reporter, which is a bit of a riff on the Iron Maiden song, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. Something like that. So, yeah, props to whoever gave us that one.
I believe that was Philip J. Hawkins.
Nice one, Philip J.
That's just going off memory because I don't think you sent that through to me in your message. Did you?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Did you write honorable mention? Did you? Okay. Yes, honorable. Yes. Okay. Cool. Yep, you did. What else have we got? What's the 1 point for this week?
All right. Now, better check. Did I give you the 1, 2, 3 points?
You did. Yes.
Okay then. 1 point goes to I Lava Lisa.
I Lava Lisa goes to a newbie, a new patron, by the way, Kyle Muldoon, Clever Muldoon.
Clever Kyle.
Yeah, Clever Kyle. It's not just it's Clever Kyle.
You're not going to get sick of that anytime soon, Kyle.
So Clever Kyle, well done. You are now on the leaderboard on 1 point, and you'll be going into the wildcard draw, even if you don't win at the end of the season. Well done.
Boom. Announcing your presence with authority, Kyle. Well done. 2 points goes to News Kid on the Box.
Ooh, that is our man, Philip J. Hawkins.
Fly high, Hawk.
Fly high.
Nice work.
Yes, well done. 2 points goes to Phil, all right. And the 3 points goes to who?
Well, you didn't get 3 points, Phil. Nor did you, Clever Kyle. 3 points to Broadcast Feud.
That goes to another newbie. Not another newbie, another person who has upgraded their patronage. So they've increased how much they're going to be supporting us. It is one Heath Appleby. New to the leaderboard so far in Season 16. Well done, Heath. Congratulations.
Nice work, Applebee's.
Yes, well done, Applebee's. All right, so this is where the leaderboard currently stands. Still in third position, we have Fergus Jeffs and Adam Vergona, both on 2 points. In second position, Brian Hughes, Heath Appleby, and Alistair Danik, all on 3 points. And in first position, it's a tie, D.L. Gorman and Philip Hawkins, both on 5 points.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exciting.
All right, guys, if you want to be a part of this Guy Davis New Name Championship, you just got to be a $1 plus patron and support the show. You get access to the Facebook group, find Guy's post each week where he asks for some new names, contribute in there, and if he thinks one of yours is the top 3, you'll go into the leaderboard and potentially win yourself a prize at the end of the season. But enough about that, Mr. Davis. I believe there's now time for a My 2 Cents story. Now, this one comes from one Lewis Douglas Kavanagh. And so basically my 2 cent story, guys, is we ask for a tight-ass story or you capitalising on a situation for your own financial benefit.
Cheapskate story.
Yeah, Lewis Douglas Kavanagh. He says, I was once in the casino at the end of a night out, and this big rugby star was in there gambling away, very, very drunk. We had big stacks of chips, and everybody was watching him. A bit too coy to approach him. I was also very drunk. I went up to him for a pleasant chat about the rugby game that day. He said, shut up, mate, and just use these. And he handed me £500 worth of chips. I took the chips, wandered around for a bit, and then went back to him and just asked if he really just wanted me to gamble away all the chips. Like, are you sure? And he said he'd already forgotten who I was and just told me to fuck off. So I just walked up, cashed in the chips, left, and bought an Xbox the next day.
Yeah!
What a man.
Lewis, that is a dope story.
Yeah. He's like, fuck this guy. I'm just going to go buy myself a fucking Xbox.
Absolutely. I'm surprised. Look, maybe it says heaps about my moral character. I wouldn't have gone back to him. I would have said, thanks for the 500, rugby star. And I would have cashed out and gone home.
So yes, those kind of stories are what we want here on Four Finger Discount. So if you've got a story about you capitalising on a situation or being a tight ass, let us know. simpsonsmailbag@gmail.com. Let us know your my 2 cent stories. But we've got some more stories coming up, Mr. Davis, from you and I, because I think it's time for the mailbag.
Mailbag.
First question here comes from Pat Wright. Pat Wright says, this is for Dando. What percentage of people at your high school reunion would know you run Four Finger Discount? Probably not many, because I'm not friends with many of my friends on Facebook. Like, are you friends with many of your high school friends on social media?
How many of my social media friends are high school friends?
Yeah. So how many from your high school do you keep up in touch with?
Not that many.
No,
I mean,
neither.
The percentage of my Facebook friends that are my high school friends is probably pretty low.
A lot of people that I know of, like my associates, know I do something to do with The Simpsons. They're not really sure what it is. Like, especially the guys I used to work with before, they're like, what's that Simpsons thing you do? Like, they had no idea what a podcast is. But a lot of people know that I do something to do with The Simpsons. They don't necessarily know it's this podcast. But Mark Boston Burgess says, who is your favourite person to name drop? This one can be for you. Who's your favourite name drop? Who's the one person that you always get a kick out of going, I'm going to get him with this one?
Oh, golly. There have been a few.
Yeah.
Because...
probably depends on who you're talking to, I guess. But who's the one that always seems to get a, whoa, really? Reaction?
Well, for a while it was Travolta.
Yep, okay. He's a fucking lovely person.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Dando and I have both met Mr. Travolta, yes?
Yep. Yeah, he went the extra mile to make my mum's experience really great. So, yeah, I've got nothing but nice words to say about John Travolta.
And for a while there it was Will Smith as well, but
Yeah.
that's sort of a little bit tainted. Lately it might be Chris Hemsworth.
Okay.
Yeah. And Tarantino's always a good one to drop.
Yeah, I would love to hear your Tarantino one. I just want to hear you name drop something and him just fucking cruise past it like it was nothing, like a drive-by. Because as you said, he likes to be the guy name dropping, right? He likes to be the guy dropping facts.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What were you thinking? Trying to out-fact the fact master?
I didn't think I was trying to out-fact. I was just trying to hey, bud, you and me, we're not so different.
You would have been in your absolute element, though, talking to Tarantino. Was that the one that you were most nervous for, do you think?
I was a bit nervous, absolutely, yeah. I'm trying to think of ones that I've been really nervous about. That may have been it.
Have you ever fucked up an interview? Okay, have you ever asked a question and gone, oh shit, this is not going the way I thought it was going to go?
I've told the story about Bob Geldof, haven't I?
You have. I can't remember it, though. What was it?
The upshot of it was I was a newbie reporter at a street paper down here in Geelong. Bob Geldof, this was in the early 90s, Bob Geldof had released one of his solo albums that nobody cared about, and I was given the gig to go up and interview him, talk to him about it. But now this is all pre-internet, so we're meant to, get a copy of the CD, and some notes and all that kind of stuff, but we never got the CD, and by the time, the interview, it's too late, and I, couldn't hear it, but I had...
Was this in person or over the phone?
This was in person.
In person, okay.
Yeah. So I didn't listen to the album, but I got a lot of notes about it, and I did some more research, and I thought, okay, I've got a good suite of questions here to ask this guy. But being a rookie, and I made a big rookie mistake, I opened up by saying, Bob, you must have a big fan in the office down in Geelong because someone made off with your CD, and I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to listen to it.
Oh, no, you didn't do that.
I did that.
He said,
He said, well, what the fuck are we doing here then?
Oh,
And
no.
I'm like,
Oh, Jesus.
yeah. So the rest of the interview, I was kind of like, in my head, all I could hear was shh, just white noise. I was talking, but I had no idea what I was saying. Although I'm pretty sure I imitated his accent to his face at some stage. So yeah, there's name dropping, and then there is that story.
Imitated his accent. That's the best. Georgia Catherine says, is there someone from your past that you're still kind of jealous of, bitter towards, even though life's worked out?
It's assuming my life's worked out.
Whose life has worked out?
What exactly show do you think this is?
No, we're both very lucky.
We are indeed.
We come from Geelong, so not necessarily many people that I know of have been huge. Springfield is... Geelong is the Springfield of Australia, right?
Yeah. I find it interesting that I'm roughly the same age as Guy Pearce. We both appeared in amateur theatre in Geelong.
And you have the same name.
We have the same name. And, you know, paths cross, you know, not our paths ever cross or anything like that. I mean, I've spoken to him a few times, but purely in professional capacity. But people I knew him and vice versa. And I'm like, why that guy and not this guy? But then there are multiple reasons why that's the case.
And you go, oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
All right, so a couple more questions, then wrap this bad boy up. Oh, this one could be for you, actually. Andrew JP. Who was your favourite journalist, either in print, on TV, or on social media / podcasts?
Oh, that's a really good question. The bulk of my journalism career, I mean, I don't know if this is quite the answer that you want, JP, or that you're after. I mean, the bulk of my career was in entertainment journalism, so I was reading a lot of those guys. There's a dude I like named Elvis Mitchell.
Okay.
I believe he wrote for a lot of papers, but he's got a podcast called The Treatment that's got the best opening music ever. And he's a very cool dude, very well informed, and yeah, always gets his point across well, always has really savvy questions. So yeah, that's a guy I like very, very much.
Elvis Mitchell.
Elvis Mitchell.
And
right. He's also got just a head of radical dreads. He rocks the dreadlocks really, really well.
Mitch Norman says, what was your favorite article that you ever wrote? Did you ever keep any of your work?
It's a sad story. This is a little bit of a sad story. When I first started working at the Geelong Addy as a regular journalist, I'd been doing movie reviews for a little while up until then, but when I started as a regular journalist, I was married at the time, and my ex and I sort of started a scrapbook of like, well, keep ghost stories. And I think we made it like 3 pages, and it's like, no, forget it. I mean, not that the stories were bad or anything like that, we just sort of lost interest.
In everything.
And I think pretty much, and eventually in each
other, the books.
That's a terrible thing to say. Hi there, Lip. But I occasionally look at them and go, oh. I did keep some stories, certainly. I'm trying to think of I was reading over some articles some of the last articles that I wrote over the last few years. And I remember writing this one on, you remember that documentary about Michael Jackson with the two?
Yeah, where he walks through the casino and just buys heaps of shit. Oh, the ones with the kids that, yeah.
Yeah. And I wrote a review of that sort of analysis, and I was really pretty proud of it. I thought it got the point across pretty well. I might actually put a link to it up online. But yeah, that was one of my favourites. One of the ones I was really proud of.
Final question here. Matthew Ong says, "What would you choose to have as your last meal?"
Well, you go first, Anna, because
my last meal. If it's going to be definitely my last meal ever, it could be. Does that mean, do you reckon if it's your? I don't know how it works, but if your last meal, can it be as big as you want? Like, what's the rules around your last meal?
Having never been on death row, I couldn't tell you.
Let's assume it can be whatever you want. I'd want Nicola's risotto. My mum's roast beef, bit of my mum's roast beef with some scalloped potatoes. I would want some KFC chicken tenders. And for dessert, I would want some profiterole filled with custard. What about you?
I would like a nice big Scotch fillet, cooked medium rare, but mostly rare, mashed potatoes, peas, And for dessert, banoffee pie.
You love your banoffee pie, don't you?
I love banoffee pie.
Banoffee pie. Is there like a particular favourite of brand banoffee pie that you like? Like, can you
No,
buy it,
no,
Can you buy it from like a is it frozen, or how do you get it?
I think it's one you have to whip up yourself.
You have to whip it yourself, or maybe like a cafe might have some or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to sound very snooty, very Caddyshack-like, but we were down at the Barwon Heads Golf Club where my mum's a member, and you pay them a certain amount every year to be a member, but as part of that, it's like, well, you know, you're entitled to some dinners down here, and if you don't actually use them, well, you know, you've just thrown that away. So mum's always like, we've got to go down to the golf club for dinner.
Yeah, killer banoffee pie.
And they had banoffee pie on the menu one night, and I'm trying to I'm never eating anything else but this. This is so good. So yeah, if I could get that particular banoffee pie from that particular instance, I'd be like, oh yeah. But I think I could enter my house justified if I had just like a nice rare steak, some really creamy mashed potatoes, and some delightful green peas.
Okay then. All right. Well, that is our review of She Used to Be My Girl. Thank you guys for sending in your questions. Remember, if you have a question or a message for us, you can contact us for anything. It's simpsonsmailbag@gmail.com. Please continue to rate. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. If you need a lift home,
let us know.
If you need someone to come and get something off a high shelf,
yep.
Yeah, happy to help.
Don't forget, guys, we're going to be doing the Discord. We're going to be launching that later. Probably in early September, we're going to launch the Discord for everybody out there, and just getting sort of my head around a few things, a few aspects of Discord. But that's coming as well. So look out for that being linked on Twitter and Instagram and whatnot, and Facebook. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter @4fingerpod, @4fingerdiscount on Instagram, and check out our other shows if you haven't already. They're all up to date now. So you got Talking Seinfeld, Going Down to South Park, the one about Friends, as well as Tales of Futurama, which is available exclusively on our Patreon. So if you do want to support this new venture I'm making, quitting my job and following this passion, you can do so by becoming a patron, get access to that show, as well as Guy on Springfield, where we go back and review a classic episode from the first 10 seasons each and every month, voted by the patrons. Also, please continue to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It lets other people know when they go looking for Simpsons podcasts, hey, these guys are pretty cool, so maybe I'll check them out. But yeah, so we are one of only a couple Simpsons podcasts that have stuck it out this long. I realized this week how many Simpsons podcasts there are now. When we first started this show, there would have been maybe less than 5. I reckon there's 50 plus now. There's so many Simpsons podcasts. The Simpsons, the podcast market in general is just very oversaturated now. It's hard to stand out from the crowd. But I think one thing that we have above most people is the fact that we are in season 16. So where we started a long time ago, we're way ahead of the pack. And we didn't just get to season 10 and just cancel. We are true Simpsons fans here, and we're going to stick it out to the end. And we're going to put some pretty cool interviews coming up, lined up with cast and crew, so look out for those as well in the coming weeks, closer to when the next season launches. That's when we're going to be interviewing some of the cast members and producers and whatnot. Pretty big names going to be coming out your way very, very soon. But yes, like I said, if you want to support the show, you can do so by becoming a patron, patreon.com/4fingerdiscount, or you can just retweet our tweets, let people know that the show is out there, and hopefully they can support us as well. But this has been our review of She Used to Be My Girl. The next episode is titled Fat Man and Little Boy. Sounds like a superhero episode, but I don't think it is. But we'll be checking that out next week. Mr. Davis, any final words for those incredible listeners out there?
You're the Dando?